Come up here and speak with you about a couple things. I put this up on the screen right here. This is what's called a word cloud. And this is based off of the reviews that many of you guys left for TAE over the last couple weeks. How many of you guys left a review for TAE? Awesome. Cool. So based off of the positive things you guys were saying, like I'd say that this word cloud, right, represents us pretty well, right? So business, great, years, growth. What else is in here? We got decisions, we got referrals, we got top businesses, benefits, increasing, executives, good, proven. So lots of really positive words that really create an influence and create an idea of what our organization's about, right? And so what we've done in a very short amount of time is help the rest of the world understand what our group is about. And up until now, we've really been kind of flying under the radar. Unless somebody knew about TAE, unless somebody knew specifically or had an invite or had a conversation with one of us, they would rely just on us in order to figure that out. So I just want to point that out. I'm going to share with you kind of the impact of what that's done for our group in just in a little bit. But I want to talk and rewind a little bit first to just share with you a little bit about review and reputation management and why it's important. Now, last week, Doug gave you guys kind of a preview of what happened with those reviews, and Doug, your check is in the mail for that preview, so thank you for that. He's not even paying attention, so. But, so the thing is, getting reviews online is about helping you attract more reviews on websites where people are looking and where the eyeballs are. And obviously, everybody knows about the big ones, right? We know about the sites, we know about reviews on Google, a lot of people talk about Facebook, a lot talk about Yelp, but there's more than that. And there's a lot more sites where people are leaving reviews and giving people an idea of what your business is doing for them, both positively and negatively, that you may or may not know about. And there's also industry-specific sites. Every one of us is operating in a certain industry that probably has a review site attached to it. And people who are looking for those services are looking in those places there. So why this is important is that, okay. So why this is important, there's a couple stats I'm going to share with you. First, 95% of people search for local businesses online. That's kind of no surprise. A lot of us do that looking for businesses. But on top of that, 91% of people read online reviews about businesses. So a large percentage of those people are also looking at reviews. When people are looking at them, they're often looking at more than one site. So they're not just looking at Google, they're looking at Facebook, they're looking at Yelp, they're looking at City Search, they're looking at Better Business Bureau, they're looking at Health Grades, they're looking at a lot of different sites. And here's the stat that's kind of crazy to me, that 84% of people trust online reviews as much of a personal recommendation. So that means that all the strangers that are leaving reviews on these sites are as important or as trustworthy to me as my sister-in-law saying, hey Mike, use this company, they're great. And that wasn't always the case, and that's why this is kind of a now thing. That's why this is more important now than it ever has been before. The other thing that's really interesting to me is 73% of consumers think that reviews older than 3 months are not relevant. So that means that if you are not continually attracting reviews for your business, that means that they're becoming less and less relevant. So a business that has a review that's 3 days old carries much more weight than a review that's 3 months old or 3 years old, okay? All right guys, so I got a quick little question for you. So I've done a search here. I did a search for Dallas landscaping. This is the results that came up. We've got 3 results here. We got 1, 2, and 3. Based off what you can see here, and I don't know if you guys in the back can see or not, but hopefully you can. Based off of what you see here, and you might call them all, but who would you call first? Get the idea in your mind. I'm going to ask you to kind of decide here.
One at the top of the list.
Okay, who's going to call number 1? Raise your hand. Okay, we got a couple here. Who's going to call number 2? Awesome. Okay, who's going to call number 3? Okay. All right, so here's the crazy thing. All right, and you guys just proved in the room here, 92% of people, I've done a lot of surveys of this with people in some webinars that we do on a weekly training, and most people choose Scapes. And here's what you got to connect with here. You know, Roundtree Landscaping, they've done all the hard work. They've got a great website. They've done all their marketing. They're doing advertising in lots of different places. They are working with a marketing company to help get them great content on their website. And they're driving a lot of traffic to a search just like this. And guess who's getting the call first? Well, it's not Roundtree, it's Scapes. They're driving leads and opportunities to their competitors. So what I want you to connect with here is that reviews and reputation management is an exercise in lead generation, right? So that's pretty crazy. Like, we all agree, hey, yeah, good idea. It should be a good, strong business with good reputation. But what you're not realizing is that when you're not paying attention to your reviews, you may in fact be sending people to your competitor, even through your other advertising that you're doing. So there's a lot of things that are important when it comes into evaluating a business. Now, what I just gave you in that example is really only this top one. You're really evaluating that business off of the average star rating, right? Well, there's more factors that businesses and people are looking at when they're evaluating businesses. So the other things are total number of reviews, or in the case of Roundtree Landscaping, the total lack of reviews. Because here's what's going on in people's minds. They're thinking, okay, well, they have no reviews, so are they new in business? Are they not any good, so they don't have any reviews? Or maybe they're out of business because they don't have reviews. Like, any one of those things is enough to sway somebody in a different direction. Review frequency, so how frequently do the reviews come in? Are they coming in at a consistent pace, or was there like a big burst of them and then nothing for a while? Also, the average rating across multiple sites. So if you have a 5-star on Google, but you have a 3.5-star over on Yelp, there's that lack of consistency starts to paint a picture. So you want to have consistency across these different sites. How a business responds to negative reviews, or even if they respond at all. How many times have you seen a review that was negative from a business and there's no response, compared to one that a business is being proactive about that and addressing that, right? Also, the overall sentiment of the reviews. Are they generally positive? Are they generally negative? That's giving us an idea of how we should move forward. So because of this, even if you have a 5-star right now, you might likely have an issue with one of these other areas. Most businesses have at least one problem with this, and this is a changing thing. You'll move in and out of problems with this, and it's important to know about each of those things there. So the thing is that reviews influence all leads, even the personal referrals that happened in this group. And this is how most people think it works. This is the kind of the map in our mind. That we get leads from and referrals from TAE. We get referrals from other people. We do advertising on TV, radio. We have websites. There's Facebook. There's Google. There's newspapers that are all driving leads to our business, right? This is mostly true, but there's actually a step in between. A lot of times, these ways in which we're attracting to our business is leading people to look us up in other ways. Like, it's great if somebody sees us somewhere and calls our phone number right away. Like, that direct response is amazing. But a lot of times it's causing, that buying process is causing people to look and evaluate and consider their options when they're buying from our businesses. So they're going to your website, they're going to Facebook, they're looking you up on Google reviews, they're asking other people for their references and their ideas, they're looking at Yelp, and then they're gonna do one of 3 things. They're gonna call your business, which would be great, that's what we all want, right? Or they're gonna call your competitor, because in the case of Scapes and Roundtree, you saw that, or they do nothing. And that's really the way it works. So the question is, if this is the way that referrals and business flows to us, there's a conversion point in the middle where you have an opportunity to sway more of the people who are getting their eyeballs in front of your business to make that decision to call you. And that's really important to understand. So that's the question, is how many opportunities is Roundtree Landscape missing, right? Like, they're getting referrals from their local business areas, or they might be doing TV and radio, they might be have a great website, they might be doing Facebook and all these other things, yet, they're probably upset at whoever they're hiring to do this marketing for them because they're not getting the calls. Roundtree can see just like you can that they're number 1 on this list. And you know what, they're probably getting some calls because they're number 1. But Scapes is getting the majority of Roundtree's efforts. Crazy, right? Cool, so let's quantify this for a second. So when you do a search for Dallas landscaping, there's an average of 880 searches that happen every single month in Google for that. So when we quantify that across the year, that's 10,560 searches that happen every year for the term just Dallas landscaping, not even counting the variations of all that. And what that really is 10,560 customers per year that they're driving towards a competitor, when they could really take a simple step to solve that, right? So that's what I want to help you understand. This is a lot about connecting with, is what you're missing. There's already people coming to you, but they're making a different decision as soon as they get right in front of your doorstep. And that's the thing, they're calling Roundtree, they're calling Scapes instead of Roundtree, and what's the average dollar of landscaping, right? And the question is, how many How many customers would it take for Roundtree to recapture just to justify addressing this? Like probably one, right? Probably one new client, one new landscaping backyard could probably justify that. And businesses assume they've done all they can do to get reviews, right? Like we've done common strategies. We've seen people ask their happiest customers, like, hey, I heard it this morning. I heard Rosemary telling Howard how awesome his guys were for the service that he provided, right? Like, and he could have asked her for that, right? But the thing is, like, would she remember, right? We can train our employees and our team members to ask people. We can provide awesome service just so that way it happens naturally, right? And also we can bug all of our friends and be like, hey, buddy, leave me a review, right? And we can also make it a step in our visitation, right? Like send up here and say, hey, do you guys want to have perfect visitation attendance? Well, you got to leave me a review, and boom, we just make it part of that process. These are common strategies that we see, but what happens? The reviews almost never come, and here's why. Because they didn't have time, they forget, they don't know how. So lots of businesses assume that there really isn't a way to solve this, and they've given up on finding a solution. But actually, there's some simple things you can do to make it really easy, make it quick and convenient, and remind them, make it easy to allow them to do this. So let's start with making it easy. So now, I know a lot of you guys have been through this experience by leaving a review for TAE, which is great. For those of you who haven't, we're going to be walking through that right now. So what we've done is we've put a simple button on the website that allows people to leave a review, and I'll share with you how else we can get people into this. But ask them a very simple question. I had a thumbs up experience, or I had a thumbs down experience. So here's what happens when they click that thumbs up. What we'll do is we'll provide them with a list of sites where we want them to leave a review. So these are sites that we choose because we know where we want to have reviews attracted, because for TAE, these are the ones we want. But for other businesses, like with Lindsay's business, she wants to be on health grades, right? And that's an important place for her to get more reviews. So this is a totally customizable. So we put Google as the biggest one because that's currently where the focus is. We're trying to drive most people to hit this page to Google. When they click that, they're provided with a simple set of instructions. Here's what you need to do step by step with little screenshots to help them identify what they need to click on. And the best part is when they click on leave us a review, they're brought right to the spot where they can leave a review, making it super simple. So a lot of times when you ask somebody to leave a review, they don't even know where to go to do it. Well, they go to Google. Do I Google your business? And then how do I find the spot where I leave the review, and where do I click on the link? All that's removed, and that's a big reason people don't leave reviews, because it's not simple, it's not straightforward to do that. So let's rewind for a second. What happens if somebody presses the thumbs down button and they said they had a bad experience? Well, guess what we don't want to do? We don't want to send them off to Google to leave that review, right? Yeah. So we want to take that privately by email so we can handle that offline, and thereby we're preventing most bad reviews before they happen. Now, can they circumvent this software and go off and do their own thing? Of course they can, right? But when we're asking and being proactive for feedback, most people are going to follow through this process, and then we're going to be able to take that negative feedback and deal with it privately, offline, out of the eyeballs of the rest of the world. You've just saved yourself a lot of pain and heartache by handling that in private, and the customer gets addressed as well. So now, how do we help them remember? Well, this is a really simple thing that we do, and you guys are probably experiencing this right now, and that we, into the system, provide and upload email addresses, and you get an email reminder to do that. So after you've done business with an organization, or in the case of the TAE, we've put your emails in here, you get an email saying, hey, would you please leave us a review? And if you don't leave us a review, about a week later, you're going to get another reminder. Hey, remember that thing I sent you last week? Could you leave us another review? And then you'll get a third one. Hey, leave us a review, come on. Come on, it's us, leave us a review, we're good. So it's a really gentle way to ask people for reviews and keep on top of them, reminding them. Plus, like if you don't have a lot of email addresses for your customers and your clients, like I know some people don't do that or don't collect that, you can also upload a phone number to send them a text message to do the same thing. So it's a really easy way to get in front of them and remind them to do that, because we're busy, we're doing a lot of different things, and when we make it a part of our process and part of our system to make sure that we're asking for those reviews, the reviews happen. And I just mentioned that text-based reminder there too. The other thing that we'll do is we'll put in the email signature of all the emails that we send out the same question, a quick invitation to do this. If you got an email from me or anybody on my team, you'll see the same thumbs up, thumbs down. Think about the number of emails that you send in a week. Think about the number of emails that your company might send in a week or a month. Each one of those is an invitation to ask them for a review and ask them for that feedback, okay? And it's a great way for you to really pay attention to what's happening in your company. So other ways that you can use reviews, you guys will see this on the TAE website, but we're embedding the reviews that you guys have left onto the website. So how many of you guys have testimonials on your website or been to a website that has testimonials on it, right? Like everybody knows that like the testimonials that you put on there, of course they're gonna be like the best ones ever, and like you got a question like how real are they, and like there's all these things in our mind. But when you're putting real 5-star reviews from real people that happen to exist on real sites like Yelp, Facebook, Google, and they can verify that these things are real and in the public, it carries a lot more weight and is a lot higher converting for a website. We also love to have these automatically post to your social media channels, like through Twitter, through Facebook. And what this does is really extends the reach of these great reviews that you're having. So I just happened to be standing by Rosemary when she was giving the great testimonial for Howard. None of the rest of you guys heard that, but this is a way that you can extend that reach. You can let people know about this and actually use your referrals and use these testimonials in your marketing and really extend your reputation as well. I just want to give you a couple examples of some TA members that we've helped. Paul, Easy AZ Traffic School. Guess why somebody leaves a bad review for a traffic school? I wasn't speeding. Yeah. I stopped at that stop sign. That cop was a jerk. Like that's the kind of stuff. But how does that provide how does that improve the quality of instruction for Paul's business, right? Nothing at all, right? So we're helping him move from a 3.5 star to a 4.5 star in about a 30-day period, which has obviously made a big impact for him. Melanie Plastic Surgery, Lindsay's been awesome, and she's got got 107 new reviews since we started working with her. And you can kind of see the trend. The blue line is the number of reviews, the black line is the overall star rating. So we can see that she's had an improvement in her star rating since doing this, and obviously a lot more reviews. This is Wendy from Chef Chic. Wendy called me last week and she said, I got an awesome big job. Is Wendy here? No. I think so, okay.
She's sick.
Okay. So she said that she got a big job, and what they did was they looked up her reviews, and then they picked up the phone and called the people who left the reviews to get more information, right? So how many people have gotten the like, hey, can I have some references from you? Like, right? So we provide the references. Obviously, we're giving like the best references that we can. Like, has anybody noticed that has stopped at all? I've noticed it personally. People are asking for less references from us when it used to happen all the time. Well, I just put this together, but I think what's happening is they already have the references. They see these reviews, and then if they want to follow up, it's not hard to, especially businesses online, it's not hard to follow up with the businesses that left that review, which is crazy. So you can obviously see where we started working with Wendy, right there. Okay. And her star rating has improved greatly. This is Reba's here. You can see where we started working with her too. And just a big shift and change for her. We got Howard here. What I love about Howard's here is like before, like his reviews were not representing the quality of service that he was offering. And so moving from below a 3-star to a 4.4 star right now is a big difference. That puts him on the playing field with other competitors that are out there now. Whereas before, that was a big issue. And it didn't take much to make that happen. This is Cameron Moore. We can see his growth over time, all the way up to those 25 reviews and maintaining that good star rating. John Carson, same thing. John told me last week that he's like, well, internally, Mike, we thought that this wasn't going to work, but it worked, Mike. So, like, how awesome is that? Like, John, trust me, right? Like, he's going to take my recommendation, and he's thinking the whole time, yeah, right, Mike. So. Awesome. Sorry to call you out there, John. Thanks for all your confidence and your loyalty. So yeah, 46 reviews. Check that out. Pretty sweet. And that's like pretty recent. Within like beginning of December and in November is when we really hit it hard with that. And that's just part of the TA story. There's a lot of other folks we've helped here. I don't want to go through every single one, but I want to thank everyone who's been a part of that program with us. So here's something else that's really interesting. Doug really hates/loves this. This is for you, Doug. So when you did a search, when you did a search for Tucson Association of Executives, this is what we saw. What's wrong with this picture?
The picture.
What's wrong? What I think I heard over here.
The picture.
Yeah, we got EAT showing up when you did a search for Tucson Association of Executives, right? There's nobody in this room that pain's greater than this man over here. He was crying in my office. He's like, please, Mike, can we do something about it? And I have great news. We did. We did! I was just waiting for the applause. Self-affirming. So here's what we did in a pretty short amount of time. This is what our chart looks like here. Our 4.9 star right now, 24 reviews. We went from 0 reviews like everywhere. In fact, like we didn't have listings. That's why the other group was showing up. And we've done quite a bit of work in a pretty short amount of time. 7 reviews on Facebook, 14 on Google, and 1 on Yelp, and more to come, I'm sure. So this stuff, guys, like doesn't have to take a long time. This does not have to take forever. If you spend your entire time in business thinking there was nothing you can do about it, this is something that can be addressed pretty quickly. And it doesn't have to be that way. And you don't have to be in the same position as Roundtree Escapes there. So the question is, what is your current review situation? So as part of our visitation, on the table I have some surveys. Just want to get your feedback. I'd like to collect an idea of what people think their current reputation is. And I'd like to get a sense of where you think you might need help. And if you'd like for me to run a report that shows you where you have reviews, maybe even on sites you don't even know existed before I show it to you. It could be things like helping understand like where there's an issue. Like this is a free report, something we'll put together for you. So just fill that out and leave them on the tables. I'll grab them. And the visitation prize is we're going to randomly select one of these sheets of paper, and we're going to give you 6 months of our review and reputation management service, and kind of go from there. So I think that's all I got here. Any questions that anybody has, or wants to talk about anything? Yeah.
If we haven't given turned in a recent lead card, will there be a ability for us to give a review to somebody that we use all the time in here?
Yeah, so if the person that you're using happens to use the service that we do, like what I'll do is I'll make a list of all the clients that we're working with, so it makes it easy. Now that doesn't stop you guys from soliciting reviews from other people, right? So like these sites exist, they're out there, but the reason people don't leave reviews is they don't remember, they don't have time, or they don't know how. So our system helps to solve that, but like, yes, like you can definitely go to any member here. Most people will have those profiles on Google, at least on Google, if not on some of the other ones.
I meant on our website. It wasn't that first example on our website when a lead card was turned in, that you are getting thumbs up or thumbs down button to show.
Yeah, so yeah, you can go. This is specifically for leaving reviews for TAE as an organization. I mean, that's important for us because like there are people in the community that are hearing the word name TAE, but they don't know what it's about, and this is helping to improve the reputation of our group as a whole. And certainly, you could leave a review and say like, TAE is great. I got connected with Mike from Anchorwave. Like Mike's a great company. Here's what they did for me. Here's why I'm associated with this group. So you could leave a review for me or any of the people in this group on the TAE website if you want to. It obviously helps me or whoever you leave the review the most when you do it on their profile. But you can certainly do it on, that would be another way. Another example, rather than just saying, yeah, hey, TAE is great, you can specifically call out a member to do that as well, which is a great idea. So thank you. Great. All right, so I've passed my time, and I think everybody, if you have questions, please follow.
Hey guys,
me.
so just wrapping up Mike's presentation here. I presented in this same exact room yesterday to about the same amount of people, and just in normal Anchorwave fashion, we're trying something a little different. So he's handing out a sheet that's basically asking them a little bit about their review situation, what they think their current rating is, and a couple additional questions, really acting as more of a lead. Mine basically sent them to a calendar link where they could schedule a meeting right on my calendar, where I'm going to provide them with a free report and then obviously pitch them on what happens next.